In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use range-based for loop to access the array elements. Okay, let's consider this array declaration where you have the declaration of an array with the size 5 with the initial value of this 39218, and as you can see the illustration in the memory, you might have the values of the array which is of size 5 to be 39218, and when you run the code you will see that the output will be this one. Okay, the output is based on this regular for loop. In this regular for loop, how you access the array is by using the array name with the indexed. So you are actually accessing the array directly using the index. Here you can also modify the array directly. Let's, for example, before I access the array, I modify the array to be array I plus 1. Okay, and when I run the code, you will see that all the content of this array has changed and it has been increased by 1. Okay, so what it does is that it's going to increase all of these element one by one. Each of it has been increased by 1 value. Okay, so that is how you use regular for loop. But in the range-based for loop, how you access it is, let's remove this one first. Okay, and then how you can access this range, how you can use range-based for loop is, so this is the format. Okay, so let's say you declare a variable called val, and this is the range expression where you want to access what array. In this case, you want to access this array. Okay, and this is the statements where you can put cout val. Okay, and let's just close this one first. Okay, as you can see from here, when you run the code, you are actually accessing the array using range-based for loop. You need to declare a variable. You just name it whatever you want here, and in this case what happened is that it's going to create a memory location, randomly selecting a location with the name val. And with range-based for loop, you don't need to use subscript or index, just like this one, just like a regular for loop. It automatically knows how many times to loop, okay, depending on the size of the array. And also what it does is that it's going to start from the beginning, start from here, and copy the value of this first location to val. Okay, copy it to here, and then it's going to output val here. Okay, and then it will go to the next loop. When it goes to the next loop, it will copy the next value, which is 9. Copy to here. Okay, so it's going to copy 9 to here, to this location, and it's going to output it. When it output, this is what you get. So, and it goes to the next loop, okay, which is copying the third value, which is 2, and copy to here, and output again the val, which is output the variable val here. So it continues until the end of the array. Okay, it will continue until the end of the array. So with range based for loop, it keeps on copying the value one by one from this location to this val. And if you notice previously where I have here, I modify the ARRI to be ARRI plus 1. Here I'm modifying the array directly. But with this, let's say you put val equals to val plus 1. What you are doing is that you are not modifying the array, but you are actually modifying the variable val itself. Okay, so the array elements, if you do this, you will get the same output as this, but what you are outputting is actually the value of val. And when you, let's run the code. Okay, so what you are outputting is, you are outputting, first it will get the value of every element of the array and increase it by 1, but what you are modifying is this variable itself. You are not modifying the array itself. So let's say you copy this code, and just output the value of the array, the original value of the array without modification, and you will see that the value of the array remains the same as this one. You see, remain the same as the original value here. Okay, so why, this is why if you want to modify the value of the variable, the value of each element in the array using range based for loop, you cannot do it this way. What you need to do is you need to put it as a reference by putting the ampersand if you wish to modify the value of the variable, the value of the array directly. So you need to modify this as a reference variable. So what it does is that it's not going to do a declaration of a variable like this. Okay, it's not going to create a variable like this, a separate variable like this. Is what it does is that if you still remember about reference, it's going to create a name. So every time you run this loop, when it goes to the first element, it is referring, the val is referring to this location. So when you are changing val here, you are actually changing this location. Okay, to become increased by 1, and then it moves to the next one. And val is no longer here, it's going to be here. Okay, and it continues to the rest of this program, the rest of the array. If you run the program, you will see that the value of the array has been changed directly using reference. Okay,